ladies, and welcome back to the Single Mother's Life. First off, I want to say Happy New Year. This is the first video of the new year. I'm going to talk about in this video, you know, the ups, the downs, the lessons, what could possibly be regrets, but I don't look at anything as a regret. I take it and I look at it as a life lesson, and I try to figure out how I cannot do that same thing going forward. So we're going to talk about all of that in today's video. Now, before I get into the video, I do want to say that I have received a couple of emails over my little break where some of you were trying to purchase the book, Testaments of a Broken Single Mother, from my website, but the link wasn't working. But if you were one of those people who emailed me and you want to purchase that book, the link is now working. I'm not sure what was going on with it, but the link is now working, and I'll leave that link in the description box below if you want to purchase the book. Also, I have not been promoting this book, but it really goes with today's video. A Single Mother's 5-Step Guide to Relocating with No Support. It's just a book about my journey, what made me relocate, you know, my relocation story, and it's going to help you and motivate and encourage you if you are a single mother who has no support and you want to relocate. So I'll leave that link in the description box below, or you could just go to singlemomsrelocating.com and you'll find a lot of other resources that you'll need if you are a single mother relocating that I put together to help. In Austin, Texas now for 3 years. It haven't been exactly 3.5 years, but it's been 3 years and some months. I decided to take my son and myself, pick us up from our life that we knew back in Alabama, and relocate us 10 hours away to the unknown to start a new life. And that was back in 2018. So again, Happy New Year. It is now 2022. And I'm excited because we're still here. Now, by no means do I want to let you think that everything was perfect. I don't want you to think that everything was smooth sailing. And I also don't want you to think that relocating as a single mom is going to be easy. But if you're watching this today, then you probably are a single mom who's thinking about relocating. And if you have not been following the channel for some time, then I would really encourage you to go back through the videos and check out the playlist of Single Moms Relocating, where, you know, I give a lot of great nuggets and tips on if you are a single mom and you are relocating. But my journey is my journey, and your journey is going to be your journey. But this video is only to encourage you, to educate you, and to motivate you, and to kind of mentor you so that you would not make the same mistakes that I made on my journey. Now, again, all of our situations are unique. My situation is not going to be your situation. When I chose to relocate back in 2018, I felt that God was leading me to relocate. So I stepped out on faith, and I sold everything in my 2-bed, 2-bath apartment at that time, and I fit what I could in my Ford Focus, and I drove 10 hours away. You know, I took that leap and I drove 10 hours away. I stepped out on faith because I felt like that was what God was telling me to do. I have gotten some emails from some ladies who felt like they were being led to relocate due to certain personal issues that you have going on. But I'm not here to tell you if you should relocate or if you can't. Only God can tell you that. I can be an accountability partner. I can encourage you and motivate you. And that's what I'm trying to do with my journey. Back in 2018, I decided to relocate. The first year was okay. If you haven't checked out that video, you can check it here. The second year was okay. If you haven't checked out that video, you can check it right here. Me and my son did a 2-year update where we was eating pizza and wings. It was really fun. So check that video out up here. This is the 3rd year, and y'all, it has been rough. It has been tough, okay? This has been the hardest year of them all. But the strong survive, right? When there have been many a times that I wanted to just say, you know what, forget this, I'm going back home. Because this year, I've been homesick. I think that I've been more homesick this year than I have been in the prior 2 years. And maybe that's because a new addition to the family. My sister just had a son, my little nephew, and I can't see him how I want to see him. Maybe that's because I'm missing my nieces. Maybe that's because I'm missing my other nephews. Maybe that's because I'm just missing being able to get up on a Saturday and go and hang out with my family. Just go and sit around and talk and joke and laugh. You don't even have to spend money. You just go to your family house. You eat, you talk, you joke, you laugh, and you go back home and you're fulfilled. Because as humans, we need that human connection. And what better connection than with your family? So this year I've been homesick a lot. And I really debated on going back home. But I had to go back to the drawing board, and I had to realize what the reason was that I decided to move in the first place. It was because of the lack of opportunity where I'm from. It was because the mindset of the majority of the people my age where I'm from. It was because I wanted to start a new life. I wanted to give my son better. I wanted to experience more. So when I'm feeling those thoughts, I would probably call one of my family members and talk to them. You know, just talk and laugh. And by the end of that phone call, I'm good. That is how I cope with the homesickness. I would also just stop and decide to take a trip home for the weekend. And I noticed that once I go home and I spend those 2 days with my family, then I am fulfilled again. And I'm no longer homesick for a while. That helps me for a while. And the next 3 months, I would just go home again to visit. But I do know that Texas is where God wants me to be. The only thing that is back at home for me is my family. That is it. That is all. And if I decided to backtrack because of my feelings, then I will have wasted the past 3 years of my life, and the time that I was here would be in vain. That is what I have to tell myself. That is how I have to cope with those feelings of homesickness. I have to look at the big picture, and I have to go back to the drawing board and realize why I decided to move in the first place. God would not have led me here if he only wanted me to go back when I'm feeling feelings of homesickness or when I'm feeling lonely. He would not have led me here only to send me back after 3 years. I haven't even accomplished what I'm here to accomplish. So I'm still here. That was one of the biggest struggles for me in this past year, the homesickness. Now, let's talk about the physical things. Let's talk about my circumstances. I did a testimony where I told you guys, where I told you ladies that I was facing an eviction this past year, but God brought me through that. It was so stressful. But thank God for my faith. If I would not have had my faith, I probably would have jumped and moved and made a terrible mistake that I probably would have still been paying for now. But God worked that out for me. I've had a repossession. God worked that out for me. I have, a brand new car now. God worked it out because I was still and I knew that he was God. And if you haven't heard that testimony, then I'll try to link it. But if not, just scroll back a couple of videos and you'll see that testimony. It was on live. And the last empowerment live that I did, I gave that testimony because there was a young lady on there who said she was going through hard times. So I let her know that she wasn't the only one. She's not the only one. We all go through them, but it's how we decide to deal with them. I went through some hard times this year, but my faith brought me through it. God brought me through it. Every single hardship that I went through, I depended on and I put my trust in God. He sent people to help me. He gave me wisdom and knowledge and direction on the next step to take. He sat me still when I wanted to move. And because I put my faith in him, he delivered me out of everything. So I'm in a whole better place right now. I'm currently waiting on my lease to be up now because I am ready to move, y'all. I'm ready, but I'm thankful for everything that God has given me. So I'm not going to sit on here and complain. But I am thankful. It is my goal to get us a house this year. So I want y'all to hold me accountable when our lease is over in June. I do want to be moving into a house, okay, with a backyard, with a big kitchen. So I can put my son a basketball goal and a trampoline in the backyard so he can ride his hoverboard up and down the sidewalk. You know, we all moms, so we all want those things for our kids, but that is my goal. But year 3, y'all, it was tough, but God brought me through. You are thinking about taking this relocation journey as a single mother. The best advice I can give you is to make sure you're doing it with a purpose. Make sure that you are not running from something, unless, of course, it's like a toxic relationship or an abusive relationship or something. But if you're running because your credit is bad or you owe a lot of people or something like that, if you're running from something like that, then you have to take care of that there, because when you get to the new city or the new state, you don't have any support. You don't have anybody who you can fall back on like you do where you're from. So you want to make sure that you have ways. You want to make sure that you're on your stuff. And when I say on your stuff, you want to make sure that where you are, you have a roof over your head. You have a job. You have an income. You want to make sure that you can live on your own and survive on your own, because that's what you're going to be. When you leave, you're going to be on your own. You have to be really independent. Number 2, you have to make sure you have your mental in check. You have to make sure that you're empowered and you know why you are relocating. And you have to make sure that you do your research and you understand what you're getting yourself into. I'm not saying that it's hard and we can't do it. Of course, I empower and encourage single moms to relocate if you're looking to make a better life for your children. If you're looking for new scenery, for new opportunities, then do it, because God did not make us into trees. But be sure that you consult God on it. If your faith is Jesus Christ, if you believe in Jesus Christ and he is your Lord and Savior, then go to the Father about it and he will lead you and guide you. He may say, not right now. You know, I don't want you to leave right now. I want you to do this here right now, and give it a couple of years. And when that time comes, he will show you. I have a friend and she says that God told her that she cannot leave her hometown because she needs to build her business there. She needs to reach people there. And sometimes God tells us that. He tells us to sit still and know that he is God. But when it's your turn, when it's your time, it's your time. And only God can tell you that. You know, no human can tell you that. Only God can tell you that, because this is a big leap that we take when we relocate as a single mom. It's a big step of faith that we take, and we have to be ready. We have to make sure that we have a plan in place. We have to make sure that we do our research. We have to make sure that we have ways to make money, and we have to make sure that we have a roof over our head, our kids' head. We have to make sure that we have transportation. We have to have the basic needs in place before we decide to up and relocate. Now, For me, relocating is one of the best things I could have ever done for myself. Because when I moved here, it's really like God really began to work on my mindset and deliver me from a lot of things and people that I was having a hard time being delivered from when I was there. Sometimes God can only change us when we leave our hometown. Even Jesus, he couldn't even do what God wanted him to do in his hometown because the people didn't believe in him. So our hometown sometimes is the hardest place to become great. You know, it's the hardest place. So you have to make that move. And I'm glad I did because God began giving me ideas. He began showing me things, teaching me things, leading me to people, guiding me. And I'm just happy that I did. I'm happy, even though, like I said, those feelings of loneliness, those feelings of, being homesick, those feelings are going to come, but you have to have a way to cope with them without running back home, without giving up on a mission and running back to what you know. So listen, ladies, this is our year to show the world how strong and resilient we are as single mothers. There are so many people who look down on us. There are so many people who tell us that we cannot do this thing or that thing because we are a single mother. But this is our year to be strong and to stand up and to be bold and to show the world that we are leaders. We have these kids. We're taking care of these kids. We are critical thinkers. We make it happen, okay? So it's time for us to stand up and be bold and do what God is showing us to do. Do what we feel we should do to make a better life for us and our kids without having to depend on anybody, without having to depend on a man, without having to depend on the government, without having to depend on family. Of course, we need that support system there, but when it comes to dependence, the only person we should be dependent on is God. Okay, so it's time for us to stand up and make a move, and then relocating is the move that you should make. Do the work. Get your mind to a place where you're like, I'm going to do this no matter what. And when I tell you that your brain is going to start giving you solutions because you have it made up that you are going to do it. That's the power of the human mind. But you have to make up your mind that you are going to do it. And when you make up your mind that you are going to do it, then you have to do the research and the planning. You have to strategize and you have to just get going, girl. Relocate. Make sure you have your basic needs in place, and the rest you can figure it out as you go. But don't put your kids in harm. Make sure you have the basics: housing, transportation, income, schooling, childcare, all of that. Just make sure you have it figured out. Make sure that you're moving to a safe area. Because when I first moved, I didn't move to a bad area, but the apartment complex, they had my money all the way messed up. Because like I said, I didn't save when I came. I only had the money to get into my apartment. And then I had enough money for gas and groceries and all that until I got paid again because I was working at home and my job transferred. And I made it work. Started door dashing to make ends meet. I got another job, a second job to make ends meet, but I made it work. And if you want to make it work, then you will make it work. Okay? So again, all of that is in the book. If you want to order the book, go to singlemomsrelocate.com. There's a lot of, great resources and motivation in the book. And it's not that thick. It gets straight to the point, as you can see. And also, I want to let you ladies know that I've also added another resource to help you on your purpose. If you right now know, that you're having a hard time with proving that you make 3 times the rent, or you don't have good rental history, but you need to move, whether you're moving to another apartment or whether you're relocating to a new city, then I have a resource with my apartment approval program that can help you. Also, I'm back doing credit repair. So it's kind of like everything that God had me doing, I built upon it. I learned it, and now it's coming all together. So head over to Single Moms Relocating, and I'm sure that there's a resource there that can help you on your journey. I love you, ladies, and I will talk to you in my next video. If you have not subscribed, why not?